Hey guys, what day is it? It's Tuesday. Tuesday with your favorite nurse, Tuesdays with Lori, and you guys are in for a big treat because today I thought you guys can get to learn a little bit more about me. So I'm going to be interviewing myself, answering my standard questions as well as maybe some not so standard questions. I've heard from a few of my clients some things that they'd like to know about me, they'd like to hear about me. So this is just a chance for me to be vulnerable and stand in my truth. So without further ado, am I a dog person or a cat person? Well, if you know me, you know the answer is I'm a dog person. I've got pictures of my dogs on the walls. If you come in as a client, you will see lots of dog stuff. And at home, it's the same way. I've got, oh my Lord, professional portraits that were done of Rex and Buster. I have photos of Jax, of Ringo. I don't know if you guys remember Gracie, but Gracie was part of our pack for a little bit. She was rescued from the Humane Society, and I was a foster for her. We also had Bella. Bella was a part of our household for a few years. It was my father-in-law's dog, and she was a beautiful soul. And she died when she was close to 13. And of course, Buster. I had Buster. Got his pictures in here right now. I had him since he was 6 weeks old until he was 12 and a half, and he just passed in October. So still near and dear to my heart, and I miss him every day. Used to bring him with me to work, and I just miss his little soul being in here with me. But life goes on. I still have the other two, Ringo and Jax, and they're more than enough, believe me. Ringo especially, he is a handful. What was my aha moment when I knew that this was my career? I worked in the ICU almost 9 years, then I suffered a back injury. I had been dabbling in aesthetics, but I didn't know that that would be my full-time career until my injury. And I was thankful that I had something to fall back on because I couldn't go back to bedside nursing. So I was blessed, and I volunteered at a medical spa in Fair Oaks. And I was just shadowing the nurse there, and then an opening came up, and I was able to start working there, and that kind of started my entire career. And I am so blessed now that I'm here at Cascade Wellness. My corporation is Aesthetics by Lori, but I am here with Dr. Dickens here at Cascade Wellness in Folsom. It is time to dig a little bit deeper, and this is something that I've wanted to be transparent about for a long time, but because my dad was still living, I didn't feel like I could share my truth. My dad passed last year on my birthday, February 23rd, 2020, and that set a bunch of different events in motion. I had been getting some therapy, and we were doing brain spotting regarding past trauma. I know I've been pretty vague about my, trauma in the past, but I'm not going to be vague anymore. From the time I was 2 years old until the time I moved out at 18, I was molested by my dad. I guess I never thought it was, bad, or as bad as it could be. And I didn't really give myself permission to grieve the loss of my childhood. I justified that because he only touched me and he didn't have intercourse with me, have sex with me, that it wasn't that bad, and that I didn't have a right to say anything. I did not tell my brothers until I believe I was in my 30s, because I was still drinking back then. I got sober from alcohol in 1999. So I've been 37. Yeah, it was in my mid-30s before I told them. Traumatic for my brothers hearing that from me, that my dad had been molesting me for years as a child. The earliest recollection, I just remember when I was 2 and I was in a bathtub, and I did not want my dad giving me a bath anymore after that, and I would cry. And then there's just like little glimmers of memories that I have through my teenage years and until I moved out at 18. I'm not going to say that I was trying to protect him. I'm just trying to dig and see what my motivating factors were. I didn't want to break up his new family by sharing my truth, because I love them all. And there were always little murmurs. I had a brother-in-law approach me one year when I was sober, and he asked me, and I said, yes, my dad did molest me. And he said that affected his relationship with my father after that. My intent was just to, I guess, hold the secret, which is what I think a lot of incest survivors do. I was always afraid that nobody would believe me. So I just stuffed it, and I used drugs and alcohol for many years to forget the pain, the shame, everything that goes with being a trauma and incest survivor. I'm only sharing now because my dad is dead, like I mentioned, but also because I have had an awakening, and I have felt this for a long time, but I push it out of my thought. And after being in Costa Rica, I feel like things have just become more clear. And I feel that I have a path to help women, a path to help those that have suffered, sexual trauma, physical trauma, molestation, incest, any of those things. Besides being an incest survivor, I have been also a battered woman, not with Joe, not with my husband, but with previous relationships. I think that has helped to give me insight into women's, I'm not gonna say the women's souls, but I feel like it is a very common thread, much more common than people even realize. The numbers are staggering. The number of women that have been molested or suffered, domestic violence, which that was me, incest, that was me, physical trauma with my mom, who was mentally ill, that was me. I was beaten, I was burned with a cigarette, I was emotionally as well as physically abused. I'm hoping that by sharing my story, it's going to help shine a light on just the stigma, I guess, associated with all this. I want women to feel like they can be true to themselves. They can stand in their truth, right? That's all I've ever wanted, is to be a bright light and to just show women that they can they have support. They have somebody that understands. And if you have not experienced the type of trauma that I have, I don't think that you would have insight into other people that have suffered similar circumstances. For a therapist to guide someone that has been through traumatic experience, emotional and physical, it's not like you can read about it in a book and that can guide you on the treatment plan. We are all so different and diverse and different backgrounds and different beliefs. And I do have a strong belief in God. He is my higher power. And I do also want to share that while I have still been sober from alcohol, it would have been 22 years. I still have not drank alcohol, but I did in the past 2 years. There were other substances that I used to help fill that hole. As the trauma was being opened, even before my dad died, doing some brain spotting, which is really deep emotional work, and healing when you can be, I think, under, I'm not gonna say 24/7 care, but brain spotting just left me feeling so raw, and I felt so much pain and shame. And these memories that I was getting, memories of my mom saying she wished I was never born, memories with my dad, just different little glimpses of childhood past trauma. And I did not want to feel that. I had to numb out some way. And so I used other substances that was not alcohol to just fill the hole. And I don't need to do that anymore. I did go to Colorado and I got some treatment and was able to really focus on releasing and letting go of the pain. And I was able to do some what they call psychodrama work, and that was actually reenacting. One of the scenes was, my dad dying, because I wasn't there at the bedside when he passed on my birthday, and being there with my brother, which was a friend. She acted as my brother, and another person was acted as my dad. And I was able to speak my truth. I was able to say how hurt I was, and I was able to let go of a lot of anger, and I'd had so much anger filling my whole soul. And with the psychodrama work, they gave me a rolled up yoga mat, and my job was to beat this chair and to put physical sounds with it. And I'm a very quiet, soft-spoken person, so that was really hard for me, hitting the chair, and I was like, and the therapist said, no, you need to let it out. And the sounds that came from so far and deep in my soul was shocking even to me. And beating the chair and just releasing that anger. It was one of the most powerful experiences in my life. And I was able to come home a different person from Colorado. I've learned that you won't always be embraced for making these changes in your life. Change is hard, and it's hard for outsiders as well. I just did not want to stuff my feelings anymore. I really respect the women whose lives that I come in contact with, and I feel that being a molestation survivor and thriver now, that other women can feel that kindred spirit, I guess, and feel safe with me. I have so many women that sit in this chair where I am right now and share their truth. They feel, the only thing I could say is that they feel safe with me. They feel my healing spirit. And I truly believe this is why I was put on this earth. Everything that has happened to me is for a reason. And I could easily have regrets, the crappy childhood that I had, the abuse that I suffered from multiple relationships, being beaten, having my front tooth broken, black eyes, broken, bloody noses. But everything happens for a reason. I only pray that my being open and transparent will open up other women's hearts and souls to where they can release that pain and can find the help that they need. Costa Rica was magical trip, and I feel like the blinders were lifted, and it's given me a drive and passion like I've never experienced before to write my book. My book is going to be a compilation of other women's stories as well as my own. And I'm willing to even put more out there. I can't share everything in detail, but here with you, you'll have to get the book. I'm giving myself a year to create this. So by my birthday in 2022, it'll be done. I'm going to put all my truth out, and I'm hoping other women will reach out that are willing to share their truth as well. Hoping a compilation of anywhere from 8 to 20 stories, truths that women are willing to share in order to help someone else. Because that's all we really have in this world, is to be a bright light for others. And I want to have something that will remain after I'm gone. And a book being published would be a way to do it. Be putting my truth and my vulnerability and exposing myself. I know this was probably a deeper conversation than anybody maybe expected for my birthday, but it was time. Everything has a perfect timing, and I feel like this is the time for me to share. And if you're comfortable, reach out to me. You can direct message me. You can email me at LoriMitchellRN@gmail.com or Lori@aestheticsbylori.com. And I'd be more than happy to hear your story, to hear your truth. And we can heal together. Healing doesn't happen overnight. This has been a long journey. Long journey with a happy ending. And I am truly blessed and honored to be with you today. And until next week, yes, I have to end it the way I always do. Stay beautiful.